Hello, Virgo. All right, so today we're going to do all of our earth signs together. So this is Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. And what we're going to do is we're going to use just a basic spread, what's crossing you, past, present, future. All right, so the first deck that we're going to use is the Santa Fe deck. And then we're going to use Santa Fe Tarot and the Mystical Shaman Oracle. And I have this new deck, and it's called Angel Kindness Cards. Okay. And that one is one that I just bought on my last trip that I just took to New Orleans. And it's very beautiful. I really love the art and intricate detail on each card. All right, so let's take a look at the first card under what's crossing you. We've got the Two of Rainbows, and rainbows are like wands. So this is basically the Two of Wands, and the Andean cross, and practice leads to mastery, and mastery brings you closer to the divine. All right, so your Two of Wands, we're going to go ahead and read that one. And I'm going to read it straight out of the book because it comes from the Navajo. This Santa Fe deck was from the Navajo tribe. Excuse me. All right, so Two of Rainbows. The divinatory meaning is a mature individual, a ruler, attainment of goals and needs, boldness, courage, and undertaking, a dominant personality. All right, so this is a very dominant personality. And I'm just going to show you the card real quick. Kind of looks like it's holding a cat head. So maybe that's the dominating part of it. I don't know. All right, and the Andean cross. Okay, the Andean cross is very similar to the Zia sun, which is why I decided to choose these decks together, because they're both very earthy. They have earth symbols in them. And I absolutely love both of these decks. So let's take a look and see what the Andean cross means. Now this is only the second card in the whole deck. So let me take a look. All right, the Andean cross is, the essence is, the Andean cross represents the cosmology. Cosmology of the shaman. It depicts the four cardinal directions, upper and lower worlds, and the steps to reach the realms. The hole in the center is the gateway to the interdimensional travel, the proverbial eye of the needle we can all go through to experience higher states of awareness and wisdom, to break free from the linear time. All right, and the invitation says the Andean cross announces the start to a great journey. It's time to raise your gaze from the mundane day to day to that which until now has seemed beyond your grasp. Allow new wisdom to guide you and stop trying to make sense of it all before you respond with a resounding yes. All right, and then your final card, the angel card, it says practice leads to mastery, and mastery brings you closer to the divine. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at your next card. This is for your past. So we've got the Fool in your recent past, which basically just, it just kind of like reminds me that, you got to be really careful. Completion. So the Fool is a long way from completion. So this must be some long past. Or sometimes you learn some really valuable lessons. Okay, so let's go ahead and read the card for the Fool. In the Santa Fe deck, the card for the Fool is also the very first of the major arcana, the 0 card. And this one's called Rainbow. Rainbow dances with snakes coming from his feet. All right, as you can see, snakes coming from the feet right there. All right, it's kind of hard for you to see it this close up, so I'm going to turn it sideways so you can really check it out. All right, so it says, Rainbow dances with snakes coming from his feet, showing that he travels to many unusual places. He holds crooked lightning in one hand and a wand in the other, giving him power and vision. From the wand hand dangles a rattles, which grant him the joy in dreams. Guardian bats protect him, having saved him once. See these two right here? Those are guardian bats on each side of his headdress that's floating. So this is a floating headdress. He holds crooked lightning in one hand and a wand in the other to give him power and vision. From the wand hand dangles the rattles, which grant him joy and dreams. The guardian bats protect him from having saved him once from his parents' wrath, and they flank a barred rainbow headdress with many small corn people, showing Rainbow's ability to please and entertain, and yet because the headdress does not actually touch Rainbow, his dreams may be distant. See how the headdress doesn't actually touch his head? Okay, and it says, the divinatory meaning for this card, upright, thoughtless, folly, extravagance, lack of discipline, immaturity, irrationality, insecurity, frivolity, delirium, frenzy, enthusiasm, and naivety. All right, so we got to be careful not to be naive, not to be frivolous, and to just really overall be careful what we're doing, okay? And then in your completion, on the completion card, this one's so pretty. This one is in your recent past as well. It says the essence. All things have a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the nature of life, the seed, the flower, the fruit, and of all human relationships. Completion suggests the fullness of the moment and need to transform an old form into a new one. The invitation. You have finished a cycle, and there is no more growth or benefit from hanging on to the old. In regard to relationships, it is time to honor what has been and find a new form from the future. In your ventures, it is time to reap what you harvest. Completion is a time for celebration. It is the end of summer when the fruit is ripe. All right, and then your angel card says, "You are a miracle. Think about all of the million little things that had to happen to create you." All right, so these cards are kind of strange. It almost seems like it doesn't matter how many times I shuffle it. These particular cards kind of keep coming up, which is kind of weird. Maybe it's a message to the reader instead of the receiver. Okay, and then for your present situation, we've got the Hermit. And we've got the Coyote. All right. And when you awake in the morning, ask yourself, what can I do today to become the person that I want to be? All right, so we all know what the Hermit stands for. It's someone who's been at home for a long time, someone who's staying at home, and someone who just overall needs to get in touch with their self. So this one is called Pollen Boy. It says, Pollen Boy on the sun, Pollen Boy, a central figure in the creation story, took his place in the sun so that the sun might not be as lonely and take a rest, thus allowing the people to escape the burning heat of the sun. Kind of reminds you of clouds, right? Depicted here as a single blue character, Pollen Boy stands upon the sun's mouth, flanked by the two short rainbow bars, and his hands seemingly cupping the sun's eyes. The sun is huge and shown here with a red and black eagle feathers, the black lightning decoration horns, and the meaning is counsel, knowledge, solicitation, prudence, discretion, vigilance, circumspection, a tendency to withhold emotion, fear of discovery. So you might be holding back your true self, or you might be holding yourself back from the people in your life. This one kind of reminds me of Taurus because it's got the horns like Taurus. But the Hermit is definitely associated with Virgo. And let me see. The Coyote is the next card we have here. And the Coyote is the symbol of the sacred trickster, the one who provides a detour for growth and understanding by ensuring that things don't go as planned. The Coyote brings the energy of the divine, deception, and to set you free from the shackles that which doesn't serve you. Sometimes it appears that you will get everything that you want, only to find out that the Coyote brings you the opposite of what you hoped for. The lessons offered by the Coyote may at first appear confusing, but they are most sacred and always for your highest good. The invitation says, if the Coyote calls to you, this is a time to pay special attention to detours and disappointments, as they are true tests of faith. You have set your intention and turned them over to the Great Spirit. Yet you may find yourself lost and confused when it appears you are being led off course, off the path, leading to your most cherished dreams and desires. Remember this, Coyote is the sacred trickster and may be leading you into challenges to ensure that you are ready to handle what you've set in motion. Great growth and understanding come to you when the coyote calls your name. So, as a kid growing up in New Mexico, you would hear the coyotes and they'd be howling. And especially when you were camping, you'd really be taking a deep breath and holding it in, make sure where did that come from, right? All right, and your final card in the present situation is when you awake in the morning, ask yourself, what can I do today to become the person that I want to be? All right, so staying at home and being yourself, and also, I think that this kind of says, like in the modern day, we've got a lot of things distracting us. We've got the news, which, depending on what channel you watch, is 100% the opposite of some of the other channels. Everything that you see is slightly distorted, and we always have to be on the watch, okay? We always have to watch out for the predator, because it may not just be one predator. There may be a whole pack of predators after you. For your immediate future, we've got the Page of Water, which is the water child, and we've got the Sacrifice. And some days it's more difficult to find something positive. Keep looking, it's there. All right, so the Page of Water, let's go over that one first. All right, this is your immediate future. And give me just 1 second. I gotta find it in the book. Page of Water. Okay, so this is kind of like the Princess of Water, or the daughter. Anyway, we've got the king and the queen, and the knight and the princess. The water child, okay? Page of Water says the water child. Divinatory meeting is a studious and intent person, reflective, meditative, loyal, willingness to offer services and efforts towards specific goal, a helpful person, a trustworthy worker. All right, so this is representing a trustworthy worker, someone who, is adored and beloved. And then the Sacrifice is the next card. I'm going to leave it right here so you can see it. The Sacrifice, number 44, which those numbers might have some significance to you. That's just where it's found in the book. I really love this deck because it's got that number on there. It makes it a lot easier to find the cards when you're learning them. All right, the essences to sacrifice means to make sacred. The sacrifice is an offering of gratitude made from the heart, a feast of love prepared for spirit. In olden days, sacrifices sometimes involved rituals, which blood was offered to the gods. For example, in the Bible, Yahweh preferred Abel's sacrifice to the one his lambs. Yahweh preferred Abel's sacrifice of one of his lambs to Cain's offering of vegetables and fruits. In Middle America, however, Quetzalcoatl, the Lord of the Dawn, came to teach the spirit preferred our songs and our prayers to the blood of humans or animals. And the invitation says, the sacrifice asks that you offer to the spirit that which is most precious to you. Your offering will be sacrificed. and returned tenfold. You will be elevated to the altar at which you have been praying and meet the divine at the table with the heavenly feast. If you are a welcome guest in this banquet, your heart is the only worthy offering you can bring. Life has been generous with you in so many ways! Exclamation point. All right. So, in other words, your heart has to be you have to be a believer in your heart in order to offer it. And your final card is, some days it's more difficult to find something positive. Keep looking, it's there. All right. So I hope that helps with your future, and I really feel like we're missing something with this reading. So what I'm going to do is pull one of these Grimm cards here and see if we can't get a moral to the story. So with my Grimm cards, I don't actually tell the fairy tale. I just give the moral of the story. So if you don't know the fairy tale, then you can look it up and read it for yourself and decide what you get from the moral. But I don't really have time to give the whole story plus the reading, so Hansel and Gretel, the moral of the story. Consequences of being greedy. Consequences of curiosity. And don't judge a book by its cover. You know that's right. All right, so there you go. Watch out. I feel like the overall idea from this whole, reading is to be careful, because, there are a lot of wolves out there in sheep's clothing, and I feel like you don't want to, watch out for sacrificing yourself to, the wrong place, okay? That can be very dangerous. All right, so I hope this reading resonates with you all, and please come back and see me next week, where I'm going to mix it up for you again.